The Federal Reserve is like a dentist who does root canal without anesthesia. Hello, I'm Steve Forbes, and this is What's Ahead, where you get the insights you need to better navigate these turbulent times. In the name of fighting inflation, the Federal Reserve is raising interest rates yet again. Our central bank is suffering from amnesia. It's applying the same approach it used unsuccessfully during the great inflation of the 1970s and early 1980s. As it did during that period, the Fed believes the key culprit for inflation is people buying too much stuff, which sends up prices. This line of thinking is perfectly exemplified by Larry Summers, who served as Treasury Secretary under Bill Clinton and was Chief Economic Advisor to Barack Obama. He says the cure is substantially raising unemployment for several years. The higher cost of money will force businesses to cut back, forcing them to lay off people. With less demand for their products and services, companies will have to cut prices, or at least not raise them. To further depress the economy, Summers recently said, quote, "The right thing to do is raise taxes right now to take out some of the demand of the economy," end quote. Federal Reserve Chief Jerome Powell should dust off Fed records of the 1970s and early 1980s. The period was riddled with 4 recessions triggered by efforts to fight inflation. The first 3 downturns did see a sharp slowing of inflation, but in each case, the Federal Reserve then undermined the value of the dollar and inflation erupted again. After the 4th recession, the Fed finally paid more attention to the integrity of the greenback. The stabler dollar and President Ronald Reagan's big tax cuts set off a long, strong expansion that saw the U.S. become the undisputed high-tech global powerhouse. The prime culprits for today's woes have been the COVID-caused supply chain disruptions that the Biden regime is doing its best to perpetuate with regulatory wars against vast swaths of the American economy, and the Federal Reserve's manhandling of the dollar. The Fed can't do much about Biden's bizarre counterproductive economic actions, but it can ditch its own root canal approach to the economy. Start by leaving interest rates alone. Let them be set by borrower and lender. Artificially increasing the cost of money to induce a slowdown no more gets to the root cause of monetary inflation today than it did in the 1970s. The Fed should shed the illusion it can guide the economy to smooth, calm, no-fuss growth. This is hubris, pure and simple. Unless there's an acute crisis, the Fed should leave the economy alone. Its mandate should be a stable dollar, best achieved by the kind of gold-based monetary system we had for most of our history. Alas, the recession-creating course the Fed is pursuing will trigger intense pressures to back off as the economy contracts. The cries for more stimulus will rise again. Overseas crises brewing in Japan, Italy, and elsewhere will do the same. Watch out. The storms are coming. I'm Steve Forbes. Thanks for listening. Do send in your comments and suggestions. I look forward to being with you soon again.